Welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, LitecoinLeader. Today, probably a little bit shorter of a video today. It's not going to be monetized or anything like that, but it's a quick message I wanted to get out to you guys and also give you a brief update. First off, if you like this kind of content and you like other videos I'm doing, please like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell. Really does help out the channel. But I wanted to share a very short video and also a short story about the mentality and the craziness that's going on in this world, just a little bit. But first off, let's talk about a story I saw on Zero Hedge. Again, this is crazy. Fed study shows that loose monetary policy leads to disaster and financial crisis. Yeah. So just scrolling down here, it said, let's see, a federal study shows the obvious, but Fed presidents never believe it. So just scrolling down here, it makes perfectly sense that it wouldn't, like the loose monetary spending policy is creating issues. This study provides the first evidence that the stance of monetary policy has implications for the stability of the financial system. Again, this is rocket science that somebody actually paid for this study. Somebody wrote a proposal for the study. Somebody asked for funding for it, and somebody got it, and then they did the study. It's just crazy. But let me hit this conclusion before I rant and rave a little bit more. The study is welcome, but the conclusion was obvious. All right. The Fed kept interest rates too low, too long. The asininity, being an ass, or how acting in an asinine way. Say it better that way. The asininity of this setup is a Fed again trying to produce inflation while ignoring raging inflation all around. Let me drop out of there and just talk to you for a moment, real briefly. Okay. If you have the way they create a spending problem is to spend more than you bring in. And that's what the government has been doing for years upon years. Okay. They have a fiscal problem. They have a spending problem because they have no budget cap. They have no balanced budget proviso. It's a printing press. They're taking money and spending it, not their money, and they're spending it on not themselves. So let me share one other video that kind of really summarizes this well. It's from Milton Friedman, and it was on the Dan Bongino show. I got a copy of this from Telegram, so that's where I'm going to share it from. So let me try and get that sharing right. But while I'm talking about it's Milton Friedman, and I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I'm trying to set this up, but Milton Friedman is one of the sharper minds when it comes to economics in the recent 20th century. And he just really summarizes this in about 90 seconds. Let me just share it right there. So here we go.
You do, and spread it around all your liberal friends and ask them to explain where exactly Milton Friedman's wrong when he explains why government spending is a curse. Take a listen.
The essential thing that they have to know is who spends whose money. Consider the following situation. First, you spend your own money. When you spend money, you can spend either your own or somebody else's. You can spend it on yourself or on somebody else. That gives you four sets which are very important to understand. If you spend money on yourself, you're very careful how much you spend, and you're very careful how you spend it. If you spend your money on somebody else, you buy a gift for someone. You're still careful about how much you spend, but you don't pay quite so much attention to how you spend it. And that is a little worse than spending your own money on yourself. But now if you spend somebody else's money on yourself, that's different. Then you don't care how much you spend, but you're very careful that you get as much as you can for what you spend. But then take the fourth of those. When you spend somebody else's money on somebody else, then you neither give much attention to how much you spend, nor how you spend it, how carefully you spend it. And that fourth situation is government. All government can do is to take some people's money and spend it on other people. And that is why there is so much waste, so much corruption in government spending.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that basically summarizes it right there. So good clip. I wanted to share that. Again, I'm not worried about the copyright because I'm not monetizing this video. Don't care. It doesn't matter. I just want to get the video and information out to you. The message is important. Again, we're seeing crazy studies. This should be intuitively obvious to people that know like anything about balancing a household, balancing a budget, creating a budget for a house. If you spend more than you bring in each month, you're going to have a shortfall each month. That's how it works. Now, states have balanced budget provisos. Everybody pretty much in the U.S. that has a household budget is working on a budget, right? They're living like they make X amount of dollars from working that month, and they have Y amount of dollars that they have to spend. Hopefully X is greater than Y, so they have a little bit of savings at the end of the month. It's getting harder and harder to do. So the government doesn't have this problem because they never have a budget. They don't have to have a balanced budget. They can print more than existed before to pay for things they allegedly have to pay for. Now, where's this money coming from? It's coming from you guys. It's coming from allegedly you guys, because the money, when they print a dollar that didn't exist into existence, that dollar has to be repaid somehow. And that's your labor that's going to be used to create it. So you're going to create more dollars and borrow from the future to bring them to the present. And that borrows from your labor. So you're paying with your future labor because of their inability to balance a budget and spend too much. So think about that for a minute. Think about that spending. And the biggest problem is when people have access to other people's money to spend it on other people. That's when you get the worst spending whatsoever. And according to Milton Friedman, that's where government's at. And that's why it's not a solvable problem. It needs to be completely revitalized and revamped. So a lot said today. There are plenty more to say this week. We have an AMA Tuesday night for our patrons. It's Tuesday night at 8:30, a little different time. This is probably going to be the last one I do for my $20 subscribers. After that, it's not going to be available this is the transition month starting April 1st. It's $99 a month going forward for Patrick and I to talk to you guys, just the way it's got to be to keep the lights on and keep things moving, because we got a lot going on and we got lots of things to do this next 6 months or so. So lots said today. Looking forward to seeing your comments. So with all that said, I'm going to close the door on the bureau, say follow leader one more time, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.